2025 was a really exciting year for me as a crafter, and I am so excited for what 2026 will have in store. So let's breathe life into this and let me show you what I plan to be working on in 2026 when it comes to knitting and crochet. The first project that I plan to finish is this raglan sweater that I have been working on for a couple months now. I picked up this yarn from Joanne when they were closing, and I've had it for a few months, and I kind of just randomly started this project one night when I was bored and watching a TV show and wanted to do something with my hands. Unfortunately for this project, I started doing YouTube around the end of October, and it's kind of taken up a lot of my time as I've been learning how to use the editing software that I'm using and trying to figure out my style and doing all this trial and error stuff that I just haven't necessarily given the same amount of time to actually working on this project. But as many of you know, this is day 5 of my 5 days of Vlogsmas series, so I will finally be taking some time after this video finishes to get back to working on this project. I am hoping to have this sweater done in a couple of weeks because I have already done a lot to get to the final stages of it. I really love the yarn that I'm using for this. It is the Big Twist Heather yarn. It hasn't necessarily been the easiest to work with because it is quite splitty, but now that I'm just going to be doing stockinette and some decreases along the sleeves, it's going to be smooth sailing from here, and I'm really excited to see the texture in the final product. The wearable that I'm going to be starting almost immediately after this is a hexagon cardigan. I feel like making a hexagon cardigan is sort of like a rite of passage for any crocheter. I'm going to be using this Lion Brand Heartland acrylic yarn because I watched someone on YouTube make a sweater with this once, and honestly it looked really soft, especially for an acrylic yarn. So far I have a black and gray yarn picked out for this, and I'm not sure if I want to add a third color into it because I feel like without it, it might be a little bit too similar to my raglan sweater, but we'll see how I feel when I actually get it started. The third wearable that I am looking so forward to making this year is the renowned halibut sweater. I feel like the sweater might even be a little bit overdone at this point, but I just think these fish are so dang cute. I really cannot pass up the opportunity to make it. This is actually going to be my first time doing stranded color work, so I'm really excited to give myself that challenge and see how the sweater turns out. But honestly, just look at these fish. Like, this sweater is so cute, honestly. I love it. I love it so much. Let me know in the comments if you are a knitter and have made the sweater before and what your experience was like, because I'm really excited to get started and I just kind of want to know what I'm getting myself into. Something else I'm thinking about maybe doing for a wearable is doing a brioche knit scarf. Now, between making a hexagon cardigan and finishing this raglan sweater and maybe starting on the halibut sweater, I don't know if I'm realistically going to have enough time to do the scarf before the winter season ends, but it is something that I have on the back of my mind to make as soon as I feel like I want to make it. I also really want to make a scarf that has like those tassels on the end of it, and I feel like the brioche stitch is the perfect way for me to be able to do that. I really want to crochet or knit some kind of wearable that is like a bright orange color. As you know, because you are here on my channel name is called Tangerines Over the Rainbow, and there is a lot of symbolism for me behind that name, which I'm sure I will get into in another video. But in an effort to try and make the color orange a staple color of this channel, I feel like it might be kind of iconic if I crochet or knit some kind of sweater or cardigan that is inspired by a literal tangerine. Like, I'm thinking like bright orange body with like maybe some kind of pockets that have like green accents on them, maybe like an orange sweater with like green ribbing or like a green stripe or something like that. But it's an idea that I had when I was walking home from yoga the other night, and I'm really excited to kind of like conceptualize that in some way if I can. I knit a hat this year and it didn't really turn out as good as I was expecting it to be, so I think in 2026 I am going to be knitting or crocheting another hat. I'm playing this game currently called Blue Protocol Star Resonance, which is an anime style MMO. For their Christmas like skins and outfit, they put out this hat. Like, it's one of those hats that has a really like thick brim with the little points at the top and has like the long strands or whatever, so you can like tie it around your head like a kid's hat or whatever. I think it's just so cute. I think this hat that I made this year really needs a redo because the bottom edge on it just got really floppy after I put it on the wash, and it doesn't really stay on my head properly, so I don't necessarily wear it a lot, even though I really like the look of it, and I'm really proud of the fact that I made it on my first try. Something that I would very much like to try and crochet in 2026 is a wallet. I'm not sure if this is a thing, but I was sort of taking inspiration from the fact that I made a crochet hook case when I bought my Clover Amour set of hooks. I have this mesh canvas here that I also bought for the crochet hook case that I think I could use to add structure to a wallet as well. I'm not sure if this is a thing, but I kind of just need a little wallet to hold like my IDs and my Costco card and a few other cards, and I seem to have a really hard time finding wallets that are just the right size for me. So I kind of had the idea, why don't I just take it into my own hands and try and crochet a wallet myself? I have not done any research on this concept. It is just a concept that I have in my head, but I'm fairly certain I can make it work, so I'm going to be giving it a go in the near future. If you have ever crocheted a wallet, let me know in the comments, and if you have a link to any pattern, I would be happy to take a look at it. Last but not least, I would really like to crochet some kind of granny square blanket in 2026. I want to make a granny granny square blanket, but I want to kind of like gamify the experience where I do a different granny square every day in some sort of different colors and kind of just see what happens on the blanket as it comes to life. I was thinking maybe I'd take from my scrap yarn stash and maybe like use a random number generator or like roll a dice and see what kind of colors I come up with. I really love the look of granny square blankets, and I love sort of like the hodgepodge element that you can kind of put into it. I don't know, a granny square blanket just feels so exciting to me. I just want to take a moment to say thank you all so much for spending this week with me during my 5 days of Vlogsmas series here on my channel. I have put a lot of my heart into these videos and tried to give you all a glimpse into my life and into my interests. Starting this coming week, I will be posting videos every single Friday, so stick around and subscribe to stay tuned for those releases. If this is the first video that you're seeing of my 5 days of Vlogsmas series, please go back and watch the rest of them because I had a lot of fun making them, and I hope that you will have just as much fun watching them as I had making them. I hope you all have a very happy and a very safe New Year's celebration. Anyway, bye!